activity. We're going to try and do Fit for Life from home. We're going to be using just our chair and the TheraBand today, but in the future we might start to use some props in your house as well. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. Please keep in mind to be safe while you're at home. The Aspen Primary Care Network is not liable for any injuries that may be incurred, and you're doing these exercises at your own discretion and at your own risk. So we've got our band, we've got our chair, we've got some good shoes on. Let's get to work. We're going to start off with our high knees. We've got our board here. We're all ready to go, just like usual. See what we can do while the world is keeping us from getting together as a group. Nice high knees. We're going to get that heart rate up. Just go for that. Add a little bit of a bounce to your step. See how we do. You can make this a little more difficult too. If you have some hand weights at home, some small hand weights, you can hold on to those while you're doing your march as well. Just make sure we're getting those knees nice and high, okay? Really using those big muscles of the legs. Get that heart rate going. Feel like we're warming up. Okay, let's switch to our polka. I don't know if you guys can hear my music or not. Almost works for a polka. Not pulling out my fiddle for you guys quite yet. Nice and light on your feet. Okay, keep it up. You should feel that heart rate getting a little higher. Feel us starting to warm up. Remember, when we're doing our aerobic activity, I like to keep it at an intensity level where we can still talk, but not sing. Okay. All right. Let's do our hip swings. Make sure you're not kicking the wall behind you. Hopefully I have room here. Nice big swings. Good to hold on to something for balance. Even when you're at home, my number one rule is that nobody falls. Okay. A few more. And switch to the other side. Okay. I know I can feel myself warming up. Sun's shining. Nice outside. Hopefully it's still nice outside tomorrow when I post this. Okay. Let's do our arm circles. We're starting small and we're getting bigger. Nice and big. Good and warm through the shoulders. And getting smaller again. Okay, and switching sides. Try not to knock my board over. Nice and big. All right, I'm getting smaller. Good job. Give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. Roll them back and down a few times. And to reset your posture there, we're going to make sure that we're paying attention to what they're doing and that we pay attention to our posture this whole time. So we're going to start off doing some static lunges. So static means that I'm actually not moving anywhere. I'm staying in the same place. I have a nice wide step here. If you're too narrow, you're going to go over your toes too far. So don't be scared to step nice and wide. I've got my chair to hold on to. I'm going to hold this position while I come straight down and coming back up. Okay? Make sure when you're coming up, you're squeezing your glutes through this back leg. Give that glute a squeeze at the top and coming back. Good job. Now making sure when we're doing this that we're lunging down. We're not lunging forward. I'm not lunging this way. I'm just going straight down and I'm coming up. I'm going to turn to the side to show you guys what I mean. Switch sides. Nice big step. And you can see here that I'm coming down. And see how nicely this front knee doesn't go forward. That's going to give me knee pain, this forward lunge. Whereas this nice straight down lunge is going to protect my knees. Squeeze that butt. Okay, a few more. And switch sides again. All right. We're going to come on back. Coming on down. Up we go. Squeeze that back glute muscle. Nice squeeze. Big, wide stance. Okay. And up. Feel those big muscles working. A few more. And the other side. Ideally, we're going so low that this knee is kind of just touching the floor. You don't have to go that low, okay? We can do a quarter lunge, and that's fine, okay? Kind of nice on the video here. I get to pay attention to my form as well. Don't let that knee buckle in or out or anywhere like that. We want to keep it nice and straight, in line. Posture, the most important thing in keeping us safe, and keeping us feeling good. Okay, I can feel that. It's good. All right, we're going to take our band. We're going to hold that band to kind of our chest. I like to hold it to my, well, not my chest, I guess my tummy. And I'm going to do a shoulder press. Nice punch up in the air. Now you can be pretty straight up. If that gives you shoulder pain, don't be scared to punch out a little bit either, okay? And if you have a rotator cuff problem that you've injured yourself in the past, you might want to avoid overhead work. You could do a punch out as well, or punch to the side. All right, this shoulder press, a really nice way to get a modified shoulder press with just a band at home. Okay, other side, holding it to your torso. Start nicely at the shoulder, just like you would with a hand weight, and up we go. Okay, good job. Slow and controlled. Okay. I hope you guys can hear the music, it's good. Kind of nice. All right, paying attention to that shoulder and making sure when we do this, switch sides again, making sure when we do this that we're not bringing that shoulder up to our ear, we're not twisting through the torso. We are still keeping our posture nice and good. Those shoulders are still staying down. And I'm bringing that arm nicely up, okay? I'm not letting that shoulder come up to my ear, okay? Other side, good punch, all right? Nicely up, slowly down, good job. Paying attention to your form, all right? Whew. Sweating in here in my conference room. All right, so the next one we're going to do is really good for your hips. It's going to be a little bit different than what we've done before. What I want you to do, we're going to get into a little bit of a semi-squat position here. You can see I'm kind of halfway to my chair here. So you're gonna get in a semi-squat. I'm gonna shift my weight onto one leg, and then I'm gonna bring this leg out and coming on back. Okay, out and coming on back. Hold on to your chair if balance is a problem for you. I'm gonna do the other side here. Coming down into my semi-squat. Make sure your knees are not drifting over the level of your toes. Your tush is aiming for the seat. Bring the weight onto one leg and coming out, coming in. We're staying down, out and in, and out and in. Feel that big work having to go on in this stabilizing leg. Good job. Let's do the other side. Okay. Coming down, shifting the weight, and coming out and back in. Good job. Big work in the balance muscles of the hips. Keeping our hips strong and stable is so important. So important in our walking, especially as we come into winter. Our balance will be extra challenged by the snow and the ice. Make sure you stay safe and strong hips. Keeping strong hips is also really important for low back pain, knee pain, all kinds of stuff, okay? Next one, we're gonna take our band again. We're gonna do a little bit more shoulder work here. We're gonna do some external rotations. I'm nicely at 90 degrees here. Elbows stay tucked. We're going to rotate out and come on back in. My thumbs are pointing up. Okay, I'm not pointing anywhere weird. I'm just rotating out, slowly coming back in. Good job. First few times, this should feel pretty easy. By the time we get to the last few, you should feel this burning in the, I call it the pocket of your shoulder blade, kind of right in this area here. And we're doing a nice external rotation. Common ways that I see things go wrong here is elbows start to, yeah, I can do this. That's pretty exaggerated, but 90 degrees, elbows stay tucked, nice rotation, strong external rotators for the shoulder. Okay, good job. Next one, we're going to do some more work for our hips. Really working these hip balancers today, you guys. So I am holding on to my chair for balance. I'm going to transfer the weight onto one leg, and I'm going to bring this hip up. Kind of imagining it drawing up to my shoulder. And we're going to draw that hip up. Make sure that you're nice and straight through your hips. Where nice and this side straight through the hips. You're not sticking your butt out here. Okay? Up. And we should start to feel this in through the balancing leg again. Once it starts to burn a little bit on that side, try and do a few more, and then switch sides. On one leg, draw that hip up. Okay? Good job. Let's do a bunch of them. Okay. Oh, our music has really slowed down here. That's okay. Balance music. Okay. Feeling that on the stabilizing hip. Try to still get good quality And bringing that hip up. Okay, good job. Next one, no bands yet. We're gonna do our heel toe raises. So nice up on the toes, bringing the toes up towards you, making sure you're holding on to something for balance and that we are staying straight through the hips and we're not sticking out our butt. Okay, we're not doing that. We're just coming, and you're not going to get those toes up super high if your hips are straight. Okay, nicely up. And we should be feeling that in calves, so the back of the lower leg, and in the shins. It's a good exercise to help against shin splints. I also get a lot of people who say they get cramps in their calves very often, so this is a great way to strengthen the calf while protecting against those cramps, because when we bring those toes up and contract the shin, it does help in preventing those cramps. And actually a way that you can fight those cramps in the calf is to do a maximal contraction the opposite way. So little note for you there. All right, we're gonna do some chair squats. So making sure you have a good sturdy chair, and just like before, feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip width apart. We are pointing relatively forward. You can be a little bit out, and we're aiming for the seat with our feet, okay? Doing just a touch and coming on back up. Now, ways that you can modify this because your knees might not be very happy when you do this. You can do a quarter squat where you just come down halfway. Just make sure you're still aiming with your seat and you're coming up nicely, okay? We don't want to be too far forward, right? That's not good. So I like having the chair there to aim for. Now another thing you can do a full sit to stand. Just try your best to do it without helping with your arms, and try your best not to do the rock, okay? It's one of the most common ways I see people cheat. So we're going to just touch and come on back up. And we're working those big leg muscles until we start to feel a burn, and continue on. Make sure, push into that burn a little bit. You start to have intense joint pain, of course, modify it, or take a break and come back and do some more after you breathe for a minute. That's okay too. All right, making sure that our knees are nicely stacked, not going too far forward over our toes, and we're bringing our hips fully up when we come up. A lot of people don't come up all the way, they kind of stay back here. Give your butt a little bit of a squeeze at the end there, and try and come up all the way, okay? Few more big ones, and we get to sleep. Okay, gonna do our good old regulars here for our upper body strengthening. I start off with our seated row. I put the band around my feet and put my legs straight in front of me, and I am rowing my boat back towards my chest. Okay. Now with the TheraBands, green is kind of the happy medium. We have the lighter color the band, the lighter the resistance. So lighter than green would be red or even yellow. And then heavier than green, we have blue and black, and we even have a couple harder ones like gold, which are pretty tough. But be careful when you're picking your band, because sometimes it's nice to have a lighter one when you're doing some of the overhead work or the smaller rotator cuff work. Whereas here on the row, you might feel like you can pull quite a lot. So if you are able to invest, you could invest in 2 bands, a heavier band and a lighter band, or you can be mindful when you're doing the harder exercises, depending on what band you have chosen. Make sure when you're doing this that your shoulders stay down and you're not coming like that. I don't want to see any shoulder punching or hiking. Coming nicely back, the chest stays nice and open, and we're squeezing the shoulder blades together a little bit. Okay, let's do the opposite. Our chest press, coming behind the back. I'm starting off with a shortened grip at the armpits and coming straight out. Again, my shoulders are staying very nicely down, and I'm not going to be pushing anywhere. We're not going anywhere here. Posture is important. Posture is nice and straight, and we're coming nicely out and controlling the release. Remember when we do our band exercises, and with most of the exercises I do, I always stress slow is better. Slow gets those postural muscles to fire, stabilizes joints, controls things, and gets wonderful strength benefits, especially on the release. So don't let it snap back. We're controlling the release. Okay? We're going to do our bicep curls. Again, slow and controlled. So this time my knees are bent, and I have the band underneath both of my feet. My arms are going to start nice and straight, and then keeping my elbows tucked. I'm just hinging at the elbows and coming on back down. Hinging up and slowly coming back down. Again, making sure I control that release. Slow is better. Slow gets the postural muscles to work. And I like being able to control that. Okay? Slow and controlled. I start with my palms kind of facing me, like facing towards me inwards here. And by the time I come up, you can see I rotate them slightly to be facing the front of my shoulder. There's a tiny bit of rotation that happens here, and it is actually very beneficial for our biceps to have that bit of rotation, where the biceps do a slight bit of rotation called supination, and we're utilizing that muscle to its full potential when we do that slight bit of rotation. Also important to do full range of motion here. You can see I'm going straight and curling up as high as I can. I'm not just doing in this range. I am straightening all the way and then coming up. Okay? So that was the bicep. Now we're going to work the back of the arm, the tricep. So hold your band, bring it across to your opposite shoulder. Take a nice high grip on it, and then making sure that we're not hiking, we're going to bring that straight down and control the release. Okay? Nice extension, slow release. Good job. Nice slow release. All right? Some people can do this. There's a lot of different ways to do a tricep extension. Some people loop their band over top of the door and then pull it down. I worry a little bit about it hitting me in the head, but when I do it that way, some people also do the tricep extension overhead, and they do it kind of like that, right? Which is an option as well, but just be careful when you're doing anything overhead. Let's switch sides, hold the band, anchor to your shoulder, take one of your tails here nice and high, and straight down. We're again just bending at the elbow, and you can see I'm not swinging anything around here, okay? elbow is pinned, and we're straightening down and controlling the release. Okay? Nice tricep extension there. All right. More. Controlling the release. Good posture. Making sure we're not going anywhere crazy there. Okay. Good job. So, for our first round of abdominal work, I do want to review transverse abdominis a little bit. So that is that lower, that core activation that's an important building block for us for all of our core work. So, I did get swabbed and I was negative. Sorry, all this talking. So we're going to sit back, we're going to relax. We're going to find those pointy front hip bones, and we're going to come just inside. This is going to be blasting through transverse abdominis here. Pointy hip bones, coming inside and sinking in slightly. When you blow out, you want to create a tension underneath your fingers that's very gentle, very subtle, kind of like the tightening of a drum. And we're going to exhale and get that tension. Hold that tension. Continue to breathe normally. You should feel that nicely, equally underneath both hands, and relax. Okay? We're going to find it again. Pointy hip bones, coming just inside, sinking in, blowing out. Gentle tension. And while you're holding that tension and breathing, lift up a knee. Very slightly, very slowly, let it back down. Hold the tension. Check that your shoulders are down and they're not up here. Now, keep holding that tension. Keep breathing. Gently and slowly lift up the other knee. Remember to breathe. And slowly back down and relax. Give your feet a little bit of a wiggle. Notice the difference between postural muscles and mover muscles, okay? We're going to do a little bit more of an exciting abdominal exercise, but that transverse abdominis activation is so important to keep in mind, especially if you suffer from back pain or hip pain or anything along those lines. We're going to do other kicks. So I'm sitting a little forward in my chair. I'm going to activate that transverse abdominis. I like to semi-recline here. Bring those feet up, and we're doing our kicks. Nicely activated here. Keep going. I'm just going to show the side view here. I am semi-reclined, and I am fluttering. You can make this harder by being a little further in your chair. And we're fluttering. You're remembering to breathe. Squeeze those glutes. Smile with all four cheeks. Keep going. And relax. We're going to do one more round of that here. Okay? Get yourself ready. Take a drink of water if you need some. We're going to stay nice and activated here. If you ever feel any kind of bulging or anything like that while you're doing this exercise, please stop and talk to a doctor. But we're going to be semi-reclining, bringing up those feet, and nicely doing our flutter kicks. I find it a challenge here to actually keep my toes straight and not going out to the side. And that can be from tight hips. So keep going, keep breathing. If this feels really easy, again, you can go a little bit further in your seat, making sure, and relax, making sure that your back is really nice and straight with that. If that is really difficult for you, if that's too advanced, you might want to sit a little bit further back. You can actually lean against the chair And you can work on starting to just do some flutters while you're sitting against the back of the chair, okay? And progress to that semi-reclined, fully activated position. Okay, we're almost done. We're gonna still do some balance work. So stand on up, have your chair nearby. We're going to check in again with our tandem stand. So tandem means that we are standing heel to toe, so heel to toe on a straight line. And while we're here, keep your chair close by. If you are able to do less and less fingers or no hands, that's wonderful. Shift your weight forward. Shift your weight back. See how you do. You can keep a hand on your chair if you want to here, or I really like to do balance exercises in the kitchen because the countertop is a nice height to save me. Put one or both hands forward and try to lean as far forward as you can and try to lean back as good as you can. Okay, see if you can avoid it a little bit. You've got your chair there. Number one rule is still that nobody falls. Let's switch our feet. We're going to find your balance. Less and less fingers. See if you can do no hands. Practice just shifting your weight onto the front foot and shifting it to the back foot. And then see if you can do either one hand or both hands in the front. And see if you can do that reach forward and coming on back. I'm pretty soft in through my knees here. I'm not locked through either of my knees, okay? Let's try and do that with one foot. If you're not comfortable standing on one foot, please just stay with the tandem stand, that's fine. If you feel like you're gonna tip over, have your chair close by or your kitchen counter, or, if you feel you're gonna tip over, just put your foot down. So, we're going to find our balance, see if you can do one hand, and then see if you can put a hand in the front. See if you can put the other hand in the front. And how far are we able to reach forward this time? And soft through the knees. See if you can do a little bit of a lean back if we're avoiding something, okay? Let's do the other side. We should be feeling this nicely through the arches of the feet. Check that your hips are straight and we're not sagging here. Hips should be strong and straight. And we're going to keep our legs soft. Don't be pressing into your standing leg with your other leg. Nice and soft in through the legs. We shouldn't be clenching our thighs there, okay? Try and put one hand or both hands in front. And we're going to see how far forward we can lean, remembering that the wobble is good. The wobble means that we're working, and see if you can slowly come back, and slowly can we avoid as well. Okay? Now after this, we usually go for a walk, so if you're able to, go on and go for a walk, go outside for a walk, grab a friend and go for a walk, or even just put your oven timer on and walk laps for 10 minutes in your house. I hope we're still going to do a few more stretches to end everything off. So we'll spend a few minutes stretching here and see how we feel afterwards. Okay, so we're going to sit down in our chairs. We're going to start off doing our neck. So nice and gentle, ear to shoulder. Put that hand behind your back. And you don't even really need to apply any overpressure with your hand. Nice and gentle in through the neck. And we're going to do the other side. You can roll forward a little bit. See how that feels? I like just the ear to the shoulder. I never want you guys to roll backwards here because that puts your neck in a really not safe position. Okay, other side. You should be feeling this really big in through the neck there. And the other side. Okay. Gonna do a little bit of a twist here, making sure you're looking over your shoulder as far as you can. And the other way. Big twist. Using that hand to bring you a little further. Both ways. Nice shoulder check. We're being slow and controlled and careful with our twist here. Good job. Little bit of a stretch both ways here. Oh, big stretch. This one always feels good. Reach as far as you can. Okay. Should be nice and warmed up here. Okay. We're gonna do a little bit of a stretch for our hips since we worked our glutes. They worked pretty hard today. I bring my ankle onto my knee. I sit up nice and tall. I'm never pushing this knee down or forcing it down. And I'm gonna sit really tall and I'm gonna lean forward just slightly. You can see here, posture is so important as we come forward. Just a little bit. We should feel a big pull in through here. Sometimes people feel it in through the inner thigh as well. If you have any type of stabbing joint pain when you're doing this, please stop and we can do a different stretch if that's the case. If you've had a hip replacement recently, this is also inappropriate. Or if you have any significant problems in your knees, sometimes people find this bothers that as well. So be careful if you have joint pain with this stretch. There are other options that you can do, and you want to talk to a therapist you trust about what kind of stretch could replace this and be appropriate for you. Okay, last one on this side. Quite often you'll notice that one side is tighter than the other. Again, making sure that we're really open through the chest and our back is nice and straight. We're never curling our back forward. As soon as you curl your back here, you're gonna lose that stretch. So making sure that you're sitting nice and tall. Okay. We're going to do a hamstring stretch here. I want you to plant the heel in front of you. I'll demonstrate here, the side of it. Plant the heel, engage the toe, nice and tall in through the hips and leaning forward. Okay, nice hinge at the hip. I find people are either really tight in through the hamstrings or they're really flexible through their hamstrings. I happen to be switch side, plant the heel, engage the toe, sitting nice and tall, hinging forward. I happen to be someone who is very tight, so even just doing the plant the heel, engage the toe, sitting tall, I could feel that pull all the way through the back of my leg. Doesn't take much of a hinge forward to really increase that stretch. Okay, and nicely forward. Doesn't take much. Okay, the goal here is not to touch your toes because I can curl my back. I can curl my back and touch my toe, no problem. But when I really focus on posture, plant the heel, engage the toe, nice and tall, and a nice hinge. That really really changes things. Okay, last one. We always hold our stretches for about 20 to 30 seconds and repeating 2 to 3 times. This is a good rule of thumb when you're doing these on your own. Okay, so that is all we're going to do today. Hope you folks stay safe. If you have any questions or concerns, you can either drop a comment or call the office